Hey everyone, well today I'm standing for a change. I haven't stood and filmed a video for probably well over a year, I would say, so this is kind of fun. I want to take you through some empties today. So this is getting back into a theme of my no-buy year. Still with a bit of a fragrance bent to it though, because I have lots of scented candles to talk about today. I have been making a concerted effort to get through all of the sort of almost empty, half empty candles that I had lying around the place. So I'm very excited to talk about all of those. And then I also do have a couple of skincare items as well, which I will leave to the end of the video. So if you are only here for the fragrance content, then you'll get that straight up and then I can get on with the other stuff. So unsurprisingly, it takes me quite a while to get through a scented candle generally. And so consequently, like my perfume, when I'm using candles, I'm not burning just one candle all the way through and then starting a new one. I tend to change my scented candles on any given day, depending on what I feel like smelling. So I will change my candles according to my mood, and of course have different candles for different areas of the house. So as a result of that, my candles last me forever. And I generally always have in my candle cupboard where I store them all, I generally, like most of them, a good portion of them are half burned. So they're not completely full. However, when Matt gifted me more scented candles for Christmas this year, and they were really nice ones. I like it when Matt gives me scented candles because he doesn't give me the same brand every time. So I get to explore and experience new ones. So that's kind of fun. But I actually didn't have room in the cupboard where I store all of the candles because I had so many. So it was at that point at Christmas that I decided that I was going to make a concerted effort going forward to burn up the candles that had kind of been lying around half burned for quite some time, in some case years. So I guess you could say I was project panning my candles. So anyway, I thought I would share with you the ones that I finished up in the month of January, talk a little bit about them and let you know if I liked them and if I would ever repurchase them. Not this year though. So the first brand I want to talk about is one that I found on Instagram, and you might recall, I can't remember where I mentioned it. It might have been in my last candle video, which was quite some time ago, that I was trying to be more conscious of supporting local businesses and local candle makers. So I was trying to find more Australian candles to discover, and I found this one. This one is called Miller Effie, and I think it's a brand out of Tasmania, and yes it is, because it's written on the label. The reason this brand caught my attention is because of this French pear candle. Years and years ago, I had one of those really big Voluspa candles with the really ornate glass, and it was a French pear scent, and I loved it. And they unfortunately discontinued that particular candle, and I've never been able to find another one that smelled quite like it. I have come across other French pear candles, but most of the ones I've tried or sniffed since that Voluspa candle have all been a bit too vanilla-y and sickly sweet, whereas the Voluspa one I liked because it sort of had more of that fruity element. The fruity element that I don't like in perfume necessarily, but I do like in a smell for a candle. So I decided to give this one a go, and I'm happy to report that the smell is very, very nice. It's like a spicy pear. So there is vanilla in there, obviously, but it's got a bit of a spiciness to it. So it's kind of a bit richer than I recall the Voluspa one being, but it's a very pleasant scent. I also got their vanilla bourbon candle, and it was okay. I can smell it. It was okay. The vanilla bourbon one, I didn't feel I could detect that scent as much as I could with the French pear. And it wasn't bad. It was very pleasant, but it was very subtle, and it it was nice. It was just nice. I don't know if I would repurchase that one. The French pear one I would repurchase, except for one thing. The issue that I have, and you may have noticed that both of the candles weren't, you know, there was still a bit of a chunk in them. I mean, you don't burn a candle all the way down to the bottom, but there's probably, I could probably get that down another centimetre or so. But the reason I won't repurchase these ones, and I may contact them, I feel a bit bad talking about it when I haven't actually contacted them to tell them about this problem. But I don't think these jars are that great for candles because they heat up very, very quickly. So as you know, when you burn a candle, you're meant to burn it long enough for the melt to reach the jar at least. But the problem with these jars is that they don't insulate the heat that well. The glass is not very good at insulating the heat, and so once that melt hits the side of the glass, it starts to heat the glass up, and that happens with pretty much all candles. But with this one, when it got down to about halfway, it would get so hot that I couldn't even touch it. So I couldn't even, these are also, I should also point out, these are wood wicks. Probably can't really see it that well. So the way I like to extinguish wood wick candles is I like to just jiggle the candle to splash the wax over the wood and extinguish the flame. I couldn't even do that with this candle once it sort of got down to about halfway because the jar would get so hot that I couldn't touch it. And so I'm worried that because the glass gets so hot, I worry that it might shatter. And I just don't like the fact that it's getting that hot that I can't touch it. I have pretty heat tolerant fingers. I'm quite capable of sticking my hands in pretty hot water and or touching hot things, and this just, yeah, I couldn't touch this. In addition to worrying about whether the glass would shatter, there's also the issue of worrying about what surface you put it on. I do put my candles on, you know, a bit of slate or a bit of ceramic or something like that. So that doesn't worry me too much, but just be mindful that if you're burning candles that where the jars do get hot, it could damage the surface that it's sitting on. But yeah, mostly I was worried about the integrity of the glass because it was getting so hot. And I just felt like it was even more of a fire hazard or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I won't be repurchasing these candles for that purpose, but I might contact them and just talk to them and, you know, get an understanding of where the glass has come from and maybe how safe it is, and perhaps my concern is misplaced. But yeah, I just feel uncomfortable about burning this one. And so for that reason, I also won't be burning it any further down than this, because it literally, because it gets down to here, this whole wax will just melt now because the glass gets so hot. So that is that one, but the scent was beautiful, so oh well. The next one is also a Australian candle maker. This is company out of Melbourne, I believe. This is called Milkwick, and the company is called Milkwick, and the candle is called Sundays. I had one called Saturdays or Saturday Afternoon or something like that as well, which was more of a, I think that was an apple scented, apple cinnamon spicy kind of candle. I finished that ages ago, even before we moved into this house. This one is black orchid, ginger, bergamot, and a little bit of patchouli. I like this one. It does have that orchidy scent. I really enjoy this one because it is a little bit spicy with that ginger note, but also I find it quite musky as well. So it's kind of a little bit more noirish. So it's kind of a darker scent with that patchouli, and it's a little bit muskier, so it's not super fruity or anything like that. So I very much enjoyed this one. This one I kept in the bathroom. This was one that I would burn when I was in the bath, and I really enjoyed it. The scent was, again, quite subtle. Wasn't like permeating through a massive big space, but in the bathroom I don't mind because it's literally sitting right next to me. So it was very pleasant, and I do think I would repurchase this one. The next two are from Jaji Fragrances. This first one is called Ink. And then I also have my all-time favorite, which is Vintage Suede. Okay, so I've talked about Vintage Suede before. You probably don't need me to say too much about it. It's a really beautiful, slightly sweet, soft, floral, leathery or leathery suede scent. So it's very soft. It's got a hint of sweetness to it, and it's a little bit floral, and it's absolutely beautiful. Ink was really interesting to me. It's very citrusy and bright in the top, but then it develops into like a musky, leathery base, soft leather. I wouldn't necessarily call it suede, but I also wouldn't consider it to be a really bold, dark leather either. So it was very nice, kind of musky, and it also has, I think they call it a sea spray note or something like that. So I'm guessing it's got, you know, it's an element of saltiness to it. I don't know if I necessarily get that, but I do get, I get an element of freshness about it that does have an element of sea breeze to it, you know, just that real freshness, that crispness, but it's not necessarily citrusy, if that makes any sense. So this is really, really nice. I think this might be one of their best sellers. And I don't know what they do with their scents, or I don't know, it must be the DNA that they have with their fragrances and their scents, but they just smell a lot more expensive than they are. They smell like a really high-end candle but without the high-end price. They're not super, super budget either, but I'd say I'm very happy with the quality that I get for the price that I pay with these candles. The next one probably doesn't need much of an introduction or for me to say much about it. This is Bays by Diptyque. This is the blackcurrant, green rose type of scent. I'm pretty sure most people know what this one smells like or have heard of it before. It's very fresh, very bright, very uplifting kind of fragrance, and I again love to burn this one in the bathroom. These candles aren't very big and they are quite pricey, but I have to say they are so heavily scented that I don't tend to burn it for too long because it's in the bathroom as well and I don't have a huge area to fill. I find that I'm quite happy to pay the price because this literally, I've been trying to get through this candle for over a year, so it lasted me a long time. But again, I don't burn the same candles every day, so you might feel differently about the price tag and the value that you get. Anyway, so that was Bays by Diptyque. The next two are from Urban Alchemy. If you've been watching my channel or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've done lives with Cody, who is the candle maker and owner of this business. I've got lots of his candles. I haven't finished them all yet, but I have finished these two. So this one is Evergreen. This is one of his Christmas candles from 2021. And then this one is Shine. And this is one of his long-standing scents, and it's one of his most popular ones too, I think. I know that somebody's going to comment on the black sootiness of the glass, or Cody himself might tell me off. But it's not sooty because I didn't trim the wicks. It's sooty because one time when I was burning it, the wick had turned over on itself, basically, or had curled up a little bit. And then when I extinguished the candle, it kind of fell into the wax. So the next time when I went to light it, I couldn't actually light it because the wick was too buried in the wax. So what I had to do was tilt it up with the flame and holding the flame onto it until it melted the wax away from the wick, and I could bring the wick up, trim it, and then light it. So that's where that blackness has come from, because I was tilting it up and the flame was basically hitting the glass. So Shine is one that I was curious about because it is primarily a watermelon scent, and I am not usually a huge fan of watermelon in any sort of fragrance, candle or perfume. But I did find that I really enjoyed this one. I found it very uplifting. Maybe it's the combination of the watermelon with the blackberry and the vanilla, and I think there's like a salty note in here as well. So maybe just that combination worked really well, but I found it to be very uplifting, and I loved burning this down here in my office in the afternoons when, you know, when you've got the mid-afternoon slump and you're struggling to focus and concentrate. I found this really helped. So I really enjoyed Shine, even though I wasn't too sure if I would like it or not. But I suppose it's a bestseller for a reason. And this one, Evergreen, is, as I mentioned, one of his Christmas candles. It was limited edition. It may come back next Christmas, I'm not sure. But I really liked it. It's just a really lovely, fresh, piney, spicy, Christmassy kind of candle. So that was really, really lovely. I enjoyed that immensely, and I'm very sad to have finished this one. Next up is one of the more high-end ones, and this is Ernesto by Trudon. And this is, I think, one of their most popular candles. It's like a really smoky, tobacco-y kind of scent. So it's kind of a masculine scent actually, and I would use this in a bedroom a lot. I think Matt really liked it as well, so I tended to use this in the bedroom where I know he would smell it and enjoy it. It's quite dark, it's very elevated, it smells very expensive because it is very expensive, and I would definitely buy this again. I only ever buy Trudon candles now when they're on sale. They do go on sale not through their website, I don't think, but they definitely go on sale at their stockists around the country. So keep an eye out. Sometimes you can get a discount on Trudon, and that's one of my favourite ways to buy them. Otherwise, I just can't justify full price for them anymore, but I do enjoy them very, very much. The next one is another Australian candle maker. This is actually a Queensland company, so really going local for this one. This is by a company called Ivy and Wood, and the candle is just called Australian Bush. This smells amazing. This one I really, really liked a lot, and I'm definitely going to repurchase this when my no-buy year is over and when I've gotten through all of my other candles. I really liked burning this one in the dining room or our living area. We have a pretty open plan kind of house, so this would be out in the living area, which was also the dining room, which was also the kitchen, and I just found it was a really nice one to have in that space because it wasn't, because it didn't seem like a strong scent, a strong perfumey scent. So it was really good. It was a really good one to have around food because I felt like it didn't interfere with the enjoyment of eating food in that space with this burning in the background. But it seemed to permeate the whole space. So if I came downstairs and then just walked upstairs, at the other end of the house, I could smell this candle burning. So it has a really beautiful light scent, but it permeates really, really well throughout a big space. So this is perfect for our house. And it does actually smell like the Australian bush. It's got things like lemon myrtle and eucalyptus and those sorts of things in it. So definitely, if you want to know what the Australian bush smells like, then this is a good representation of that, and it's absolutely lovely. So I will definitely repurchase that one. This one, this is not a candle. This is a mayonnaise jar. Okay, so I have 3 more candles to go through, and they're all from the company called Glasshouse. Now, I have done a whole video on Glasshouse candles. I have since acquired more Glasshouse candles since I did that video because Matt had purchased some Glasshouse candles for me for Christmas, not Christmas just gone, but the Christmas before. And so I have been finishing up some of the other ones that I had floating around. This one is, I think, their most popular candle. This is called Taha, or it used to be called Taha. I think now it still has Taha in the name, but they've changed the names now. This candle, this particular candle is, I think I bought it in 2017. So I've had it for a very, very long time. Well, that's a long time for a candle, right? It smells like salted caramel. So people love this candle. I liked it. It did smell nice, but it was so overwhelming after a little while. So because these candles are, or used to be, I think they've changed their formulation a little bit of these candles, and a lot of people are complaining now that they don't think that they're as strong as they used to be. But this particular one at least lasted me so long because I could only burn it. I would literally get the melt to the edge and then extinguish it immediately because the scent was so strong and so sweet and so much. It was just a little bit overwhelmingly gourmand for me. So for that reason, I won't be repurchasing this one. However, if you love those gourmand, sweet, caramelly kind of smells, then this is a very, very popular one for good reason. The next one is Barcelona. I don't know why I'm showing you the base of the candle, but again, I think this is now called something different. I think it's called Tango in Barcelona or something like that. Again, this was like one of the older ones. This is tuberose and plum, as you may have read on the label if you could read it. It's a very lovely, sweet tuberose scent. It is very strong again. So consequently, I only really burned it for a small period of time. I liked burning this in the bathroom as well. I just felt like it had a really lovely elevated air to it because of the tuberose, and the plum just gave it a nice sweetness. It wasn't too plummy. I didn't find it to be overly fruity or anything like that. It was definitely tuberose. So I really liked this one, and would I purchase it again? Maybe, probably not right away, just because it was a lovely candle, but it was just a floral candle. So I feel like there are others that I would choose over this, but if you want something that's very strong and very heady, then this did the job for sure. And then finally, I have Kyoto. And this one is my favorite candle from the house, except for one of their Christmas candles. I think it's called White Christmas, which I love. I buy one of those every year because Christmas just isn't Christmas without that candle for me now. It's just so entrenched in my brain. But this one I really, really do love, and I have repurchased this many, many times over. I think this is probably my 4th or 5th candle of this, and I think I still have one in the cupboard upstairs. So it's a really lovely camellia and lotus scent. Lots of companies, lots of candle companies do a camellia and lotus combination, so they obviously go really well together. And when I've burned through the next one that's in the cupboard upstairs and I'm looking to replace the camellia and lotus candle, I might have a look around and see if there are any other local companies or local candle makers who make this kind of combination, and see if I would prefer a different one. So sorry, I've been talking for a really long time, and water. Whew, okay, so the reason why I'm not rushing out to buy any more glasshouse candles is because A, they changed their formulation. I still think they're good candles. I think they're still good value for what you pay, although the price has gone up since I started buying these candles. Second of all, they're a much bigger company now. So I just want to support small businesses as much as possible. And there are so many small candle makers out there that do really lovely candles. So they're the only two reasons. I don't have anything against Glasshouse. I think they make a great product, and they're very popular for a reason, but they're huge now. So I just feel like it's okay. They've got enough support now. I can transfer my loyalties to another business. If I can't find anything that smells like this though, I will buy this again because I love this fragrance. So we made it to the end of the candles. Wow, that felt like I was doing so much talking. It wasn't funny. So as you can see, lots of candles. I made lots of headway with my project pan of my scented candles this month. I don't expect to have another month like this because, again, in fact, none of these were new in January. I didn't start burning any of these brand new in January. They were all, actually that's a lie. I think Evergreen I did, because I didn't burn Evergreen at Christmas this year. So with the exception of Evergreen, everything else was already kind of half burnt out. You know, they weren't full candles. So I don't expect to have another month like this because I don't think I have that many half burned candles left lying around now. So, which is good because now I can start making my way through all of the new ones that I have. Okay, so that's candles. Now I'm just going to take you through a few skincare items that I used up in the month of January. I did mention in one of my other no-buy videos that I had to use up all of the samples of things that I have lying around. Why do I have to ramble so much? These are not my empties. These are things that I need to use up. One moment. Okay, I'm back. This is my empties container. So first up, I have this Ren Skincare, which is a clean skincare brand, I believe. And this is their Clean Jelly Oil Cleanser. It's called Perfect Canvas. I did not enjoy using this product at all whatsoever. I hated the smell. It smells just like vegetable oil, basically. It's this jelly oil consistency. So it's oily, but it's quite thick. Poppy, can you stop knocking the camera, please? Thanks. Like most women, I do a double cleanse. Like most women, I do a double cleanse, first with oil and then with a lighter cleanser. And I just found that as the first cleanse, I didn't like it because it was really tacky. It's quite thick and it would be quite tacky on my skin. So if I was trying to get eye makeup off, for example, like today I've got full eye makeup on. In fact, I look a bit crazy in this lighting. I look like I've been punched in the face. But because it didn't move around very easily, I felt like I really had to tug my skin in order to get it to rub in and start removing the makeup. And that, in addition to hating the smell, and then when you go to rinse it off, it was actually really hard to get off. So my skin still felt really oily and gluggy after I'd done the second cleanse. And so I did not appreciate this product at all. The next one is just a body moisturizer. It's a scented moisturizer from Acqua di Parma. It was a gift when I bought another perfume off someone. She also gave me the little mini of the perfume. This is the Bergamotto di Calabria. I actually haven't finished using this up because it doesn't smell good. So I think it's gone off. I actually have no idea how old this is. So I still have the mini of the perfume and the perfume smells fine. It's a great little splash on after a bath or a shower type thing. But this is, yeah, it smells really bad. So I'm guessing it is off, in which case I'm not putting it on my skin. So that is going. This is a little sachet of an SPF from the company called Skinstitute. I don't know if this is an Australian company. I have a feeling they might be. Sorry, I don't know if I can. There you go. Anyway, it's their Age Defense SPF 50+ broad spectrum sunscreen. It's 2 hours water resistant. I got a sample of this when I bought their vitamin C powder, which I'll confess I'm not loving, but I thought a powder, I thought I would trial a powder because I thought maybe a powder might be more stable than a serum. Anyway, I'm not talking about the vitamin C, I'm talking about this. This I found was actually really good, but they market this as being your everyday sunscreen that you can put under makeup and stuff. So it's meant to be, it's quite moisturizing. It's a moisturizer as well as a sunscreen. So it's quite thick. Your skin feels quite moisturized. It stays tacky for quite some time. So as a daily sunscreen that I'm trying to put on under makeup, and particularly if I'm running late or something like that, which I normally am, let's face it, I don't have a huge amount of time in the mornings. I just found this was not really that workable for me because I had to wait so long for it. And in fact, it never really dried down onto my skin and soaked completely in. I felt like I always had a layer of it on my skin, which is great if you're going outdoors and you want like it to last and stay on your skin all, you know, for a long period of time. But as a under my makeup sunscreen, I didn't really like it that much because I felt like it was too moisturizing. Maybe in winter I would feel differently. I tried this in summer. Anyway, it was just too thick for me, I think. But otherwise it was fine. It was a sunscreen. It doesn't have a smell. It's quite a good brand, I think. They're quite a, you know, they make, I believe they make quite good products at a really affordable price. So it's worth checking out if you want a sunscreen that's really moisturizing, if you've got really dry skin. But for me, it was a bit too much for summer at least. So I don't think I'd rush out and purchase this, but I do like the idea of a sunscreen that's also a moisturizer to eliminate one step in my morning routine. This is a soothing gel serum from a company called Clear. They also make azelaic acid, which I do use as well. And I really like this. I think this might be my second bottle of this, and I already have another bottle in the cupboard, which I already had as a backup before my no-buy started. So I didn't rush out and buy it because of my no-buy, but it was already in the cupboard. I go through this pretty quick, so I kind of always, once I get low, I always repurchase it because I don't want to be without it. And it's just a really nice, soothing, unscented serum. It feels moisturizing. So for the days where I've used tretinoin the night before or a really strong acid the night before, and if my skin's feeling a little bit sensitive, I will use this underneath everything, and I'll also use it at night underneath. If I am using an acid or something like that, I use this underneath the acid. So I put this on first and then I put the acid on, just to try and dilute it a little bit and keep my skin a bit calmer if it's starting to flare up a little bit because of the actives. The only thing I don't love about this is because it's unscented, it smells like lubricant because it's a jelly. It's like a gel serum. And so I feel like I'm putting KY jelly on my face, which I don't love. I would actually rather it had a scent to cover that up because I just don't like that. But because it's so good at soothing my skin and cooling my skin, I don't care, I'm using it. So I just have to get through those few seconds once I've put it on my skin before I put the next thing on. But anyway, and it's really inexpensive. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it's inexpensive. So I'll be sad when the next bottle runs out because I do have other serums in samples and stuff like that I have to get through before I can buy another one of this, but that's okay. Speaking of serums, here is a little sample of Chanel's Le Lift serum, which I do really like. I don't know if it really does that much, but I do like the smell. I like the texture of it. I like how my skin feels after I've put it on. It gives your skin a real silky, smooth feeling, like you've got like a silicone layer on it or something. It's quite hydrating. I basically use this as a hydrating serum on the days when my skin wasn't feeling irritated. So, and I really enjoyed it, but I am trying not to buy Chanel products anymore just because they aren't cruelty-free, and I do have a lot of their perfumes, but their skincare is quite expensive too, so I just don't know if I can afford to keep, you know, I don't know if I could afford to buy a full size of this. I do have one of their face masks and it is so, so nice. But again, I don't know if I don't feel like their products necessarily do any more than other things that are at a lower price point. So that was the Le Lift. I have another serum here. This is the Lancome Advanced Genifique. Genifique, maybe that's how you say it, I'm not sure. I don't really know anything about this. I do like that it has glycerin in it, so it made it really easy to spread over a large area. It was fine. I don't think it has any major actives in it or anything like that. I'm not a huge hyaluronic acid person, so I don't feel like I need those sorts of serums. So usually I try and find things that doesn't have that in it. But otherwise, I was fine. It was fine. I don't know how much it costs. I have no interest in finding out because it didn't like blow my mind or anything, but I used it up and it didn't hurt my skin, so that's fine. Next one is another Skinstitute sample. This was the Gentle Cleanser, and I quite liked this actually. I found it really easy to use. It was really gentle on my skin, and I used it as a second cleanse and I really liked it actually. So there's a very good chance that I might, once I've run out of cleansers, I might purchase this as my replacement. I'll have to look at the price though. I can't remember how much this cost. The CeraVe one that I'm using does have hyaluronic acid in it. Why can't I say that? HA, it has HA. Whereas this does not. This has glycerin in it as well, which apparently is very good. It also has camellia in it, which is nice and soothing for the skin. So if it's not super expensive, I might use this as my replacement cleanser when I run out of cleansers. And last but definitely not least, I have this little sample of this Guerlain Orchidée Impériale essence. Now, I had no idea what this thing was, but I have so many of these little vials of it and I didn't know what it was meant to do. I didn't know how I was meant to use it. I literally only a month ago found out how you use essences, and I kind of thought, my immediate thought was, what an absolute bullshit product. I really did. I thought that that's just a gimmick. There's going to be no benefit to that at all. But I'm eating my words. I did really, really like this product. I nearly fell off my chair when I realized how much it costs, but I have to say I did enjoy using it. So how I used it was when I get out of the shower and I've dried my face, or my face has dried, and before I've put any skincare on it, if it's starting to feel a little bit tight, I would splash a little bit of this, and a little bit goes a very long way with this too. I'd been using this for months and I only just finished using it up in January. And it does make your skin feel a little bit nicer, and it just bides the time a little bit for, between my skin being dry and before I'm going to start applying some products to it. So I confess, I'm eating my words. I really liked it. I still don't know what they're really meant to do. I think different essences do different things depending on what's in them. I haven't really researched it that much, I'm not going to lie. I don't really want to pay the price of what this goes for at full price anyway, so I have no intention of buying it. But I have a few of them to get through, so I'm quite happy with that. It should last me quite a while yet. It also smells really nice. I do love the Guerlain skin products, but I just cannot afford them. They are truly rich person skincare. So anyway, so that was that. So that is all my empties for the month of January. And I am feeling exhausted because I've been talking a lot. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being here if you've stayed this long. I know January wasn't a no-buy month technically for me because I didn't really even decide to do the no-buy until week 2 of January, I think. And officially it didn't start till February, but I just, I don't know if this is interesting to you. I personally love watching these types of videos. I don't know why. I love these even more than I love declutter videos. I have no idea why. It's just a, morbid curiosity maybe, I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're doing anything similar and what you managed to use up in the month of January. And yeah, if you know anything about those skin essences, let me know, because I haven't actually, I could just do some research, but I'm too lazy and I don't know if I care enough to bother. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I really need water. Actually, I need coffee or maybe tea because it's getting too late in the day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.